Manchester United versus Chelsea. We're going to be doing the build-up to the game. Myself, with Zabata. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you're a Manchester United fan for regular Manchester United news content. And we're going to go into this and say this is the starting lineup for the game against Chelsea. So initial reaction, well, we talked about this at great length yesterday, and I think we got 11 out of 11 right. But to be honest, there wasn't loads to pick from in terms of players and options. But what do you think regarding the back four was the thing we looked at the most because of the centre-back issue? And what do you reckon with what he's gone for?
I'm really excited. I mean, I'm looking at that. We named that back four, didn't we? Shaw, Heaven, Mazurai and Delay. So he's kept those defenders in their positions. The only change is Mazurai coming in. So to me, that's a solid back four. I think it's the best back four we could have considering everything. And it doesn't scare me. It excites me. Actually, we've got a conductor in there, which we've been missing when Maguire and Yoro have been playing alongside each other. So we've got seniority in there. And Delay proved himself on the wing. It's shocking that we had to rely on him in the last match, but he's proved himself on the wing. And he's got better. Casemiro, Mainu, that's a massive result that Mainu's fit. Really needed him because I just didn't want to see Ugarte there, and it just meant having to change. Maybe play Bruno deep. So to have Mainu alongside Casemiro is an absolute joy. Let's hope they give Enzo and Kasida a run for their money, because I think on their day they can. And then up front we've got Cunha, Bruno, and Ambuno finally playing on the right. Ahmad, we had Ahmad down yesterday in our starting lineup, and we had Ambuno as a striker position, second striker position. I don't think he's been at his best in that position, so it's really lovely to see him on the right again. And Sesko, we need our striker to start. So really excited. I'm over the moon with this.
Keeps most people in their natural position, doesn't it? I don't think that was the key. It keeps people in the position that you're expecting to play. I think, is this the orientation of the back four you actually called for as well? I think it is. And I think it was one where we had a big discussion, interesting discussion. And so, he must have been watching and thought, actually, Michael Carrick must have tuned in yesterday and thought, those guys on United TV, this is a good back four in terms of, given the options we got, let's go with that.
Yeah, that's a solid back four. And as I say, you've got a conductor in there as well. You've got seniority. And you know what's really interesting, Rich? I don't know if you've seen the Chelsea lineup. We were fretting about João Pedro.
Yeah.
He hasn't even made the bench.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear, isn't it? Because I was saying that he's been in form. It's whatever weakness that we can exploit in Chelsea, we know they've got potential issues with the defense. I'm happy with that. I think we've got threat all across our front line, which is going to be key in this match.
Yeah, they're actually starting with Delap, which is very interesting. I don't know how many goals he scored this season. I don't think it's that many. So that really takes the pressure off. For me, with our concerns was a makeshift back four, João Pedro coming at us. Do you have Delap there? I'm not as worried. So I think that's a definite plus. I don't understand what's wrong with João Pedro. I think it's a huge loss for them. So that's something that's it gives us a bit of an advantage, because it did feel like things are stacked. But honestly, Rich, I look at this starting 11 and I'm really happy with it. I don't look at it thinking we're going into this game as an underdog. I'm thinking we've got a great starting 11. We've got options on the bench. Ahmed can come on, Mount can come on. They can change the game. Xerxes can see the game out if we need to. So I'm quite inspired, really, and with Chelsea having as I said, their issues with their captain, and not having João Pedro on the side and shipping goals like it was going out of fashion. This could make for a really good match. It could be, and I really hope everyone clicks in.
Ian's gone for like a 3-1 prediction. So I said, get your thoughts on the lineup, and we'll go through as many thoughts to this as we can, because obviously the match will be kicking off in 40 minutes. We're going to do a pre-match stream today just to cover what people are thinking. And one thing that's great is, because with YouTube, we did a big prediction yesterday. We went through what were the options, and the back four, we discussed about it for ages, and we chose this back four in the end. This was the back four that we came to the conclusion this might be the best option. And it's interesting. Well, if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to blame us. But when I saw a story this morning and it said, "Will Casemiro play in defence?" I was thinking,
Don't. Yeah.
hope not. And United's Side Dice says, I actually don't have an issue with Mazraoui as centre back. They say Luke is best on the left. So this is a gamble, but this is like the best option, or this is like, and it said this is Carrick's to win. And when we played 3 at the back, Mazraoui was actually part of that team.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking, I don't really advocate for that. I'm not going to be sat here and say I want to see 3 at the back. But I was thinking Mazraoui certainly looked comfortable in that situation. And effectively, we're kind of lucky that we do have at least a few of these players that, like Mazraoui, can fill in a couple of different positions. And this is kind of what we need, isn't it? We do sometimes need somebody that can play multiple positions, like Phil Neville used to, like Clayton Blackmore used to 15 years before him. And you think that it's good to have these options. And if Luke Shaw was missing, we had a centre back. Mazraoui could have been there. So I think it could be worse. And I think that our issues, we're looking just in defence, but once you go midfield, attack, and also we worried a bit that maybe Mainoo wouldn't be there. You look at that and think, actually, the majority of our team is there. Chelsea have got potentially, like position by position, more issues than we've got.
Yeah, and do you know what's lovely about this is like Delay can go up. They can play 3 at the back. They can play Shaw and Maz deep. Heaven can go up with the attack and find those passes. There's creativity in our midfield, and then there's so much creativity in our attack. I think it's really exciting. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think Mazraoui is going to be a titan in this game. Look, he's a warrior as a defender. And I think he'll come. Neto, I don't think he's going to get any joy out of Mazraoui today. And it's up to us to nullify Palmer. So yeah, I'm excited. Estevao is someone we have to keep an eye on. Shaw has to be on his game for that, and I really hope that Casemiro is also there just to plug in any holes that are left behind. But yeah, I'm really hopeful for a win. Actually, a lot of people were talking about draws or nicking a point. I think we should be getting a win. I think I'd be unhappy, put it that way, Rich, if we don't get a win. Looking at this team.
No, I know. I saw something this morning. I can't remember what it was, and they were saying that Manchester United would kind of like just need to get over the line with this season now, and the expectation was going to be if we get a win today, that's pretty much it. Like, I don't like Chelsea. There'll be a big gap between us and them, and a draw will be like it doesn't feel like the worst result in the world, but I'm thinking like let's just get this win and just forget about it. Let's just get this win, beat Chelsea, open up a big gap over them, and then that's going to stop some of the speculation about what's happening this season, because I think a lot of people keep worrying about games. And this isn't the hardest game we've got. So this isn't the most difficult one. Is that we got potentially Liverpool coming up. I think if we get over the line in this one and we can maybe pick up points in other matches as well, it would be a key win. And I'm not really worried about Chelsea. I'm more worried about that we're not up for it. I think if Manchester United play as we can play, say over the last 10 games, it feels a bit like even against Leeds. If you forget the first half and look what happened after sending off, I thought we were capable of causing massive problems, and we had 10 men at that point.
Yeah, exactly. You look at how what I would like to see from this team. Do you remember the intensity that Leeds showed us in that first half? If we can just show the same amount of intensity at Chelsea, I think we'll certainly nick a goal, and I think that's when they'll start to, it's happened before, time and time again. The goal goes in, and then they just start to crumble. So, and challenge Sanchez. Sanchez always has an arrow in him. Pile those balls up high and keep going, attack after attack. Do you remember how they were in the first couple of games? If we can start off that way. No, have no fear.
Exactly. I saw this comment from Berber who says, our team looks like a weightlifter that's done nothing on his legs. And I was saying, if you look at Manchester United's team, and if someone said, right, where did you spend the money last summer? We spent it on the top of our team in the attack. And we've benefited massively from, if you're going to have a conversation with Manchester United's ownership, you go, look, you invested heavily in the attack. It looks really good. Like, you're scoring goals. You're a massive goal threat. And you didn't invest money on defense. It's looking like it needs a bit. Like, looking at this point in time, we are unlucky with suspensions, but it does look a little bit massively underinvested. You look at this. Shaw's been there for so long. Dali's been there for so long. Aidan Heaven is a 19-year-old, and we're asking Mazraoui to fill in there. So it feels a bit like if we can get over the line this season, they can't repeat these kind of issues. Like, we need to make sure we address the depth issue we've got. So, but I do agree. As long as I'm not after anything spectacular, it feels like if Manchester United play to a sensible, we're organised off the ball. Mazraoui puts in a good performance. Aidan Heaven, that should be solid. But yeah. Aidan Heaven, he's got the skill set, I believe, and I think he's got the experience around him, which I really hope there's nothing stupid given away. And I think we will cause Chelsea problems. Even in games in the past, like last season, we caused them loads of problems. We have been able to score a decent amount of goals against Chelsea. And I think that we look threatening with like Casemiro, Mainu, Cunha, Bruno, and Mbeumo. We've got. If I was a Chelsea defender, I'd be thinking, "Wow, it's going to be a busy night." Because I think Mbeumo, I want to see him like really stepping up and playing like he did at the start of the season. Because I think his work rate could be like key in terms of like. I do honestly think that we could do what. Do you remember we used to watch? Well, I used to watch Brentford, like high pressing, and I think if you look at Chelsea that like to sometimes play out from the back quite slow, I don't think they've got the best defence. And if I was Man United, I'd be thinking, if we can win the ball high at the pitch, that would be something where we could really get stuck into Chelsea. I think we might be cautious early on.
I think, if you think about goal threat from Chelsea's end, they've got Delap. Do you know how many goals he's scored in 23 matches?
I forgot how much he's been.
One.
He's been
one Premier League goal in 23 appearances. So
let's not make it two, because I don't want to talk about. No, I was thinking he was one of these people that he joined Chelsea a bit like, maybe there should be like a support group for people like Trafford who went to Man City. And like Delap, you can see where I'm going with this, can't you? And like Phillips that went to Man City and go, have you signed for a big club? Are you now not allowed to play football? They can invite Garnacho along as well. And they can try and deal with the reality of being like, you're not as good as you thought you were. You chose a clean team thinking you're going to get first team football.
We could do, yeah.
You get the point there, don't you? If I was any sort of Manchester United negotiation team going into the transfer window and they're saying, what can you offer? And I'll say, well, let's have a look at what we won't be giving you. We won't be giving you a seat on the bench for 90% of matches, which you might well get at Chelsea or you might get at City and potentially at Liverpool as well. So a bit up to you. Really can't game as well. Really good to see you. Really, hopefully catch up a bit more as well. This is kind of a bit of a rebrand for you. So I read your comment and I knew what you were saying. Ryan thinks he could genuinely outscore Delap.
Yeah, I think he could.
worst case scenario, he only beats you by one. That's.
And it's interesting for Spurs. I know we're doing it, but the Spurs are drawing 2-2. Leeds won 3-0 at Wolves. Spurs are in the mire. They just can't get out of that bottom three at the moment.
I was looking at it and thinking, I believe that Spurs might play. They might be playing Wolves next, and I was just thinking that. So if Spurs drew, cheers, Kazi, saying that's full time. Spurs drew when they took the lead in that match. My initial reaction was, Spurs going to do like that thing that some teams do, where you think, okay, we thought they're going to get relegated, and suddenly they do something at the end. And I'm actually looking at thinking, I don't see a lot in the Spurs team. That they've got some tricky games coming up. They probably definitely need to win the next game. But if Forest win tomorrow, and I believe they're playing Burnley at home, I think they're playing Burnley at home, or it might be they got Burnley at home.
They are playing at
game.
Home. Yeah.
And then if West Ham pick up points in a lot of games,
they're away to Palace, aren't they? West Ham.
So I mean, Crystal Palace must be like drifting through, like they're still in Europe, aren't they? So they must be not a bad team to play. And what do people think then regarding this match? So United Dice says they look so bad on the ball, it's not even funny at this point. Is this Spurs?
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah. when I say Man United linked to Spurs players, I'm just thinking no. There's just you can name any Spurs player. Maybe there's maybe 1 to 2, but when you look at the Spurs team and think like Van der Ven, I mean, look how many goals they're shipping. I'm not convinced that the price tag they want. I'm not sure it'd be worth it at all.
Yeah, but yeah, I've got no idea. I used to rate Mickey Van der Ven only because of his pace, but yeah, look, that defense is atrocious at the moment. It really is.
No, so if anyone's got any comments, questions about tonight's match, we're doing like a pre-match. I mean, we will be doing a post-match where it's myself, with Zabetta, potentially other guests. I'm not sure at this point.
I'll put up Berber's comment. I quite like that comment.
Find it. Which one is that?
WDV.
Yeah, this was exactly, that's what I said. For people that watched yesterday, we did a preview, and this was exactly 11 for 11, the prediction that you put out there. Unbelievable. And I think I had the same back four, but I probably moved Mazraoui to a left back situation and played Shaw alongside Heaven. But to be honest, we kind of looked at it and thought it's a coin flip. They're the right people. Well, they're the only people left really we got. And I think the one thing we did agree on is that Malacia is not allowed to play for Manchester United again.
Oh my days! Yeah, ship him to Chelsea.
he's like a Chelsea player, isn't he? Where you could loan him out, forget he's a football player, and then eventually he gets sold somewhere. That is the Chelsea model in a nutshell.
It's too late for the lottery, Berber.
I know. Yeah, tune in for next time when we predict the national lottery numbers. And no, I'm thinking this. Do you think there's any potential surprise with this? Like we're kind of like I'm actually not sure what to expect from Chelsea, because when you see several poor performances, it's a bit like United. We haven't been putting in great performances recently. In that regard, it's kind of that if one team steps up and actually plays the level they're capable of, I think that's going to decide this game. The thing that is a positive is I think we've got more goal scorers in our team, and I'm looking at Chelsea thinking that unless Delap has been, I don't know, rested for this game for the whole season, I don't know what to think.
This is a FA Cup final. I look at our attack, and look, Rich, I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited. I look at that squad. I have no worries about it. I really don't. People want to err on the side of caution. I'm just going to be a real United fan and get really excited about the team that we have. All I want to see from these guys is intensity. You're playing away from home, no pressure. Go at them. Have a real good go at them in the last 15, 20 minutes. Shake them up. Tell them that you're here. This team we've been waiting for a performance. This is a great opportunity for them just to show it. Sometimes when there's a bit of adversity, you can see the best in players. The team comes together. So I want to see that today. And that we've got the characters in the team to do it. We're coming to the last 6 games of the season. Give the fans something. Give the away traveling fans something. They've come all the way across to London.
I know. And also, I've organised for Monday. I think Nina came on the channel probably, I think it might have been like 6 to 9 months ago, whenever we played Chelsea a while ago. And I don't think it was this season. It might have been the end of last season. And I've organised that we're going to do something on Monday. So I'm thinking, I've organised to speak to a Chelsea fan. We need to have a good result for this one. It's going to be, because sometimes I think about it and go, right, if Manchester United went to Chelsea and won 3-0, and I'm messaging Chelsea fans to get them to come and talk about the game, I'd feel like I was taking the piss a little bit. But if I do it beforehand, it feels like, I did message a while ago or recently to see if we could do maybe like something before the game or after the game. And so hopefully that'll be a big thing. Also, Sully Talks, who posts information on Twitter, he's a very good source. I think he might be able to come on the channel as well to sort of answer people's questions regarding. He has quite a lot of inside news. So that might be quite interesting, particularly as he has a lot of news in terms of like the rehabilitation of Dorgu and players coming back, and also, it's one of these things where you can. I'm quite excited about that because it is a very credible news source as well. That's something that we can't like to try and do. Well, I like to try and get at least as accurate, as accurate information as possible. So that's something that I'm actually thinking that could be potentially like a longer, like maybe it's going to be like not a one-off, but we can do a few of those. But I'm going to go through some of the comments, and welcome, Tyrone. No, it should be good. I don't know the time yet, but when I do know, I will let people know. But the questions really tonight is that, am I going to be in a good mood on Monday talking about this with Chelsea fans? And you think we are? I'm still like 50-50. It's just, I do actually look at it and think, oh, surely we learn from the Leeds game. Like, you can't start off really slow. And even though like Leeds are up for it, and I think we saw today, Leeds are a good team, aren't they? They've got a fight. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that I'm not really surprised they're near the bottom of the league because they don't have the depth other teams do, and they've got promoted. It's difficult to stay in the Premier League, but they are a difficult team. They're up for it. It's a little bit like West Ham. They're up for most games at the moment. They look like they're going to pick up points. I'd much rather be if we had games against mid-table teams with nothing to play for, and at the moment, with the Premier League, because so many teams qualify for Europe, it's difficult to actually find any of those teams. I think at the moment, maybe Fulham's like the only team that aren't in danger of being relegated. They haven't got much say in getting qualified for European competitions. So you're still thinking it's going to be a pretty good night for United?
Yeah, just in the Leeds, look, it happens time and time again every single season. When teams are in the mire, sometimes they always win their derby because it's the one time they can give something back to their long-suffering fans. It happens time and time again. I see it so often every season. I really hope, look, we were on a downslope. The Leeds game was accumulation of all those performances. I really hope now he's got it into their heads. You cannot do that. You cannot start the first half with that type of intensity. You need to go for it. You need to give something back to these fans. You need to win, and you need to win convincingly. And I and that's what wearing the Man United shirt is about. You play for your fans. You play with passion. You play for the badge, and you play with intensity. We talked about it when Carrick started. Attack, attack, attack. That's what we're known for. Aggressive, positive subs. So I think we can do it. I really do. I think if we have that mentality, we've certainly got the quality on the pitch. Everyone just needs to be on their game just for 90 minutes. We're not asking for much. And get the result. And the other thing is that's interesting to note. We've got Michael Oliver being our ref. In over 50 appearances, he's never once sent off a Man United player with a straight red. So that's something to kind of not worry so much about.
I know that's not. I like to say, let's hopefully that
carries on. Jinxing everything.
It reminds me like a couple of years ago when every time there was a conversation about Manchester United's like records against certain teams, this might have been under Ten Hag actually, and it might have been this team's never won at Old Trafford. And you'd be thinking, oh no, here it comes. And it was just, I think it might have been Fulham or something like that, and it was just like they won at Old Trafford, and it'd be like, oh, Crystal Palace haven't done. It's like, all right. No, okay. I think it feels a bit more resilience in the team, and even though like the Leeds game was a dreadful result and dreadful performance for most of the match, the only thing you can look at that is that with 10 men, there's ability there, isn't there? There's capability there. If Manchester United had actually started off playing like that with 11 men, it might have been a different situation, but you can't start that slowly in the Premier League. I mean, Chelsea are so inconsistent as well. It feels a bit like it's a battle of like, if United play badly and Chelsea play well, we're gonna be talking about another disappointing defeat. But if it goes the other way, and Manchester United play well, then I think that Chelsea are definitely a team which they've folded in recent matches as well, haven't they? They've had some dreadful results.
They've had some terrible results. And the interesting thing is what they'll be saying to Chelsea is, oh, United haven't won here since 2020. So that's a record I'd like to break today. I really would.
I know Bill's got some questions in. I think you got 5 minutes. I'll be another 15 minutes on here. Yeah, people got some questions and predictions they got. Jim has predicted a win. He says he's gone for a 2-1 Manchester United win. So I'll go for a couple of the predictions people are putting in there, because that's interesting to see how. If I miss it, just post it again, because sometimes the comments, they're not always up. They kind of don't refresh in a way that's easy to use them all. So Rob's gone for a 1-1. We got Berber going for a 1-1. Danny's gone for a 2-1 Chelsea win. We got Sesko hat-trick, which I know a certain person in the comments that has a bet on with somebody that if Sesko scores 10 goals in the rest of the season, very, very unlikely that it is, very, very unlikely, then he has to buy a Marcus Rashford shirt, which is something he really, really does not want to do.
We'll have to crowdfund it for him.
Yeah,
take the sting out of it.
Sesko hat-trick would be fantastic, actually, and I would love to see Sesko score a goal as a starter. It would be great if Mbeumo can be involved in scoring or assisting, because I think he needs it. And I remember you saying yesterday, can Bruno Fernandes edge towards a Premier League record for assists? Does he need 3? I'm kind of like forgetting how many.
3 to match 20 and 4 to break it.
Yeah, it's
6 games. It's doable.
It's one of these things, isn't it, where one big game and you're going to get very close. I'm just thinking it'd be nice to break it against Liverpool, wouldn't it? Or equalise it against Liverpool.
I'll get to you today.
I think it's I think he's one of these players that against Chelsea, considering all the options he's got, I think he'll definitely create a few big chances. That's almost certainty. 1-1 says Bilal. Someone asked me for my prediction. Good question. Honestly, I was leaning yesterday towards like a 2-2. I was thinking there's goals in this for both teams and I'm looking at a lineup, and I know Chelsea don't have João Pedro, which is good, which does kind of help a little bit. I'd love to predict a win. I'm thinking it might be like for United. I don't know. I don't think Chelsea aren't going to take a draw, are they? That's the one thing that if United take the lead, or if it's a draw, I think Chelsea will have to go for it. So there is a chance of us doing something. I'm thinking, though, I would like to see goals, definitely. I'm thinking it might be something like 2-2. I think there's goal. I think Chelsea's defence is quite porous, and I think we might be looking at, I don't know, with Manchester United, that I'm kind of worried a little bit what happens when we make some substitutions. And is Casemiro going to play 90 minutes? Mainu, what if one of them has to go off and we bring on... That's the only thing. I think you could look at the bench and say, Almadjolo and Mason Mount come on and have a positive impact. Or you could look at it and go, he puts on Agate, and we kind of like... So I'm going to say 2-2 as my prediction.
I'm going to go for either 3-1 or they might just sneak a 3-2. And I'm hoping Casemiro plays the full 90 minutes. He's got it in his tank to do so. And if Mainu just kind of needs to come off about 75 minutes, I would replace him with Mount. I wouldn't bring Agate on. And Mount can see out the next 15 minutes, and him and Bruno can rotate. So that's what I would do in that position. And then, if you want to take Sesko off, you can put Mbeumo up top, because Mbeumo's got the defensive capabilities, so has Cunha. They can help out the defense, and then you can bring an Ahmed in just to kind of give it a bit of pace and shock their back four and pin them back a bit. So that would be my game plan.
Would I have started Luke Shaw as a centre back? I think I was I was going down that route when we're looking at the preview. To be honest, when we're looking at the options in defence, I thought if you have Luke Shaw as a centre back, then and you move Mazraoui to the left, it didn't. I don't know. I'm not 100% happy with any situation because it's not something we normally use, and I didn't really want to play 3 at the back, but 3 at the back with, I suppose, Shaw, Heaven, and Mazraoui. Then you probably have to have Almadjolo and Dalot. It kind of reduces our effectiveness, I think, going forward. So I don't really mind this. I think, like you said, right, Mazraoui is capable of playing there. It's going to be one where I hope that they kind of have a good understanding, because this is like Mazraoui and Aiden Heaven. It's not like we've got much to go on regarding what sort of defensive partnership they're going to form, but it's they got experience around them. At least they've got Lamans behind them, who is going to be, hopefully nothing. We're not going to give away anything stupid like we might have done in previous matches. Welcome, K Slater, to the chat. Good to see you, K Slater. Thanks for finding us again. I know I messaged you.
I'm not your mother. That's what I'm thinking of. Right, up the United. I've got to shoot. I'll join you after the match. Come on, United, we can do this. 3-1.
Yeah, I was saying before you go, this is the first time we've actually done a pre-match stream, so we can remember all the predictions. Now we've got a lineup in front of us, and we know what Chelsea putting out, and we can discuss this after the match and see how our predictions compared with how the match played out. So thanks for joining us.
See you soon.
So I'll go through so for another 10 minutes, we can go through some comments and questions. And I think you think we swapped Mazraoui with Shaw during the game. I think there's definitely, I suppose it depends how things go. One thing I hope is that if we start off well, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. If we start off well, we don't need to change things. If things aren't going well, maybe there's an option to try and change things. That'd be good. I mean, I'd say this as a Man United fan, I would much rather Manchester United scored early, but this is one game where Chelsea certainly will, at home, you'd expect the onus to be on them to actually go for it as well. So, yeah, you would be thinking, say, 3-game suspension for the hairpull against Leeds. Really, though, I did say with this that I think the thing about these decisions, whether it's like handball decisions, this sort of decision as well, I don't think we were expecting consistency, are we? And I think from United that you're not going to get consistency. Just try not to give the referee anything to go on. So that I'm not surprised, because as soon as the Martinez red card was talked about last week, there were examples being posted on social media of other situations where no card, no penalty was getting, like say no red card, no sending off, no issue. And some, it's not really surprised, but it's a bit frustrating, isn't it? We do get that. Yeah, that's one where this gives me a bit more confidence, because Delap starting over João Pedro. Is there an injury issue? Because apparently João Pedro is not even in the substitutions either. So it could be that, I don't know what the situation is, but it could be that if he's got an injury issue, then maybe that's more concern for Chelsea as well. So yeah, that's probably a bonus for us. When we're looking at the game yesterday, we talked about Delap a little bit, and I thought João Pedro is going to be a problem. He's got a very good goal scoring record this season. Yeah, it's all good, Gregory. All good. Yeah, don't forget to get some comments and questions in. The match will be kicking off in about 10 minutes, so this won't be a long live. It might be something that we do for other matches as well, if people enjoy this. This is something where at least we've got a bit of information in front of us. We know the lineups, and it's the last kind of discussion, last stream we can do before the game. And then I might be trying to do a watch along at some point, but I do need like other people involved so that I can then set up for the post-match stream at the same time as the match is going on a little bit. So he's the only one providing these days. Which player is that about, K Slater? If you're looking at Chelsea, I would say Chelsea are quite reliant on João Pedro, if that's what you're discussing, because João Pedro has been really good for Chelsea. And if you look at Chelsea, they've got a strong midfield, but they've got a lot of issues otherwise. Fulham player had his hair pulled. Yeah, I suppose the one thing that's almost for sure, Gregory, is that if it was significant and it was like pretty similar, then I'm sure they'll be talking about it. It does seem ridiculous. I thought Manchester United were going to appeal that red card, and if there's evidence today that it's been other players are doing the same sort of thing, it's going to be a bit annoying, isn't it? That's all I can say. I think decisions will be wrong sometimes, but at least have consistency. I think that's all we ask as fans. At least have some sort of consistency. I don't want to be watching games guessing what the decisions are. It's crazy. But yeah, get some comments in if you want any sort of comments you want to say about the game tonight. Chelsea versus Manchester United. The question I was asked yesterday by Ryan was, would anybody actually be happy with a draw tonight? A lot of people predicted a draw. Would anybody actually be happy if this game did end in a draw? I mean, we've seen what Chelsea have got. You look at the league table and think, based on like how many games we've got left to go in the rest of the season, and let's have a quick check of the table, because I think Chelsea I think they're on the back of 3 straight defeats, aren't they, Chelsea? So 3 straight defeats for Chelsea. At the moment, Manchester United 7 points ahead of Chelsea. If we draw, we maintain that gap, though Aston Villa will have a game in hand, and a win for them would drop us down to 4th. But top 5 gets Champions League football. Brentford have drawn 5 games in a row, so they're not really in the conversation with 5 games to go for them. But this was like a win against Chelsea clearly puts us in a massive advantage. We'd be 10 points clear with just 5 games to go. So it's pretty much a done deal then. Chelsea, in fact, actually, they've only picked up points in 2 of the last 6. So no, if Man United, like this, would you take a draw? Is the question. Like, would you take one? Delap's only got 1 goal this season, but he hasn't been playing loads. I'm actually, but I think it's really good that Manchester United didn't buy Delap. I don't want to say that players Manchester United are linked with, they do have this habit of doing something against us, and say, I'm not. I get the feeling that Delap, he'll certainly want to prove himself, won't he? He'll certainly want to do that. Yeah, hopefully not, though. Yeah, we could. Maybe what you could do, maybe what we should do in the future is like, there's only a few games to go, but that could be a good idea. We could do like a group stream. This was like hastily organized though, but we could do something where we get people in, have a quick say on the match for like, maybe we could start like an hour and a half before the game, and we could get people on, have your say on the match. And also NEMS LFC, I can't remember, I think you've got a YouTube channel as well, so this could be something for all fans to get involved with. We could post this, we could have a debate, and we could get people on, have your say regarding the game, do your predictions, because then we're going to run a stream tonight after the match where we're going to be say hate watch loading. I guess as a Liverpool fan, what do you want to see? Like, this is a question for me. Like, if you're a Liverpool fan and you are the person like on the screen, Manchester United, if we beat Chelsea, then that probably keeps Chelsea way behind Liverpool. They're 4 points behind Liverpool. If Chelsea beat us, that's not ideal, because Chelsea would go 1 point behind Liverpool. A little bit of pressure, I know. What would you prefer? So let me go through the comments. Because Danny says, I would be very happy with a draw. So again, I mean, because of the league position and the 7 points advantage, it's one of those situations where, I mean, if you get Champions League positions for 3rd, 4th, 5th, it doesn't really matter if we finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I mean, obviously, I'd like to finish as high as possible, but in this game, because it's Chelsea, if as long as we don't lose the game, it's not going to be the end of the world, and it would be a bit of a annoying one if they did actually get over the line. And so Jim says he wouldn't take a draw, want the win. Chris says, right now, I'd take a point. Dreadful defense, and I was definitely wrong about Delap. Do you say you wanted Delap last summer? To be honest, the price was quite low, so I can see why that was a factor. And Delap could always have been a backup striker anyway. So again, we haven't seen lots of Delap this season, been a bit in João Pedro's shadow, but we can look at it the game tonight, and hopefully we don't have a different view. Hopefully we're looking at a bad performance. So you think you'll get top 5 with a draw? Cheers, Bilal. Cheers, Bilal. We're live for like a couple more minutes as the game will be kicking off, but get your final kind of questions and thoughts regarding this game. I'm just thinking that with this one, I think this has got like a score draw written all over it. Both teams, like Manchester United, are certainly capable of scoring goals. And if you look at our draws, that we're always like scoring, like we've had a couple of 2-2s recently, And I think with Leeds, we saw Leeds are up for the fight. The only thing I've got is that I know historically we have quite difficult games with Chelsea, but it feels like this Chelsea team is a lot worse than we've seen for ages. And worst nightmare would be Cucurella and Garnacho scoring. Yeah, for some reason, if I was going to put together probably be a Premier League 11 of players that annoy me, then Cucurella and Garnacho are pretty much walking into the team. So I'd be pretty annoyed if that was the case. I'm getting the feeling that I'm not sure Garnacho would do much in this game if he gets to many minutes. Cucurella, I mean, I don't know. He is a problem, and he is a annoying player, and we'll have to see what happens with that one. But I agree with you. Is it not Premier League goals for Delap? So I was not able to see them. That we did better. My guest like 5 minutes ago, he had to head off, but he looked through the stats and said Delap's got one goal. I don't know if it's a Premier League goal, but let's be honest, I don't actually know how many games he's played. He's got some injury issues. I think it's one where, it's been a very disappointing season for him. But let's just hope that he doesn't cause Man United problems. There's always one player, isn't there, that and I think for me it's like Danny Welbeck, where he wasn't particularly prolific when he played for Manchester United, but he's been incredibly prolific against us over the last decade. Such a problem. But no, I'm actually thinking it might be something like 2-2 today. A big up to the Blue Lounge as well. Really good Chelsea channel. I think 28k subscribers is my guess. I was checking your channel out earlier today. Really good channel, great content, nice graphics as well. And thanks for sharing the post about my channel as well. Really appreciate that. Definitely a channel that we'll have to collaborate at some point, and that will obviously be something we can try and sort out at some point. I do agree. You're kind of actually saying what I was thinking as well. When you're talking about draws, I'm trying to think that there's so many games against Chelsea down the years that have finished 1-1. And the only thing I'm thinking of is this season, Manchester United seem to be a bit more capable of scoring goals. I'm always looking at Chelsea thinking centre-backs are the positions you need to strengthen. So I'm just thinking we could definitely score a couple of goals. I could definitely see we have this habit of conceding goals from distance. And also with Aiden Heaven, Mazraoui, Dalot, Shaw, then looking at the lineup, and it is not a lineup we ever see normally, I'd be amazed that if we got a clean sheet, I would be genuinely surprised at this point in time. So 1-1, I was thinking 2-2 because I think we've got more goal threat, but I think if it's 2-1, Chelsea are definitely going to throw men forward. You can't really sit back. You've got to try and if it's a draw, even I think that you have to be you can't really take a draw, and you'd have to go a bit more attacking. So that's what I was thinking. It's one of these games where I think there could be a decent amount of goals, which I would like. Yeah, we're definitely on the road to 500. I think gradually, at the moment, like I said, if you can leave comments after the stream, rewatch any videos. YouTube at the moment doesn't really know what to categorize the channel as. It's not really. When I look at the analytics, it literally doesn't know what channels you guys watch. It doesn't know football fans watch this channel at the moment. But yeah, so if you could like and subscribe, and we've got a couple of minutes if people want to go through any sort of final points. So the last time you saw Delap play, missed an open goal versus Hull in the cup. Oh, is this it? One Champions League goal for Delap. Yeah, bad return, isn't it? I don't know if it's a mixture of injury, form, or like João Pedro's just been keeping him out of the team. But no, it's Manchester United fans. We had a conversation about this one, and at the time, he was one of our targets. Wasn't the release clause £30 million? And at the time, Manchester United, we had big problems. I thought 30 million was actually a good price to try and get a striker, backup striker, possibly. And I thought that's what we could go with. Gregory says Sesko will be man of the match. Well, I hope you're right, Gregory, because that means he's he's done something. He's scored from starting in the match, which is something that he hasn't had many starts. That would be good. One thing we'll be trying to do is when I've got more organized, because we're restarting a bit, maybe I'll be able to get somebody that I could then link into someone doing a match watch along, and then I could take over and do the post match. So for anybody watching, I will start scheduling a post match during this match. We'll be ready for 10 p.m. We will have myself. We will have We Deserve Better. We might have Helgi, and if not, we might be able to get somebody else on, and we'll be reviewing the game, player ratings. It's a bit of a weird one. It's going to be at 10 p.m. on a Saturday talking about Manchester United. So it's kind of like match of the day time for some people in the UK, but we're going to be doing that late tonight. Anyone got any final points before we head off and watch the game? All I'll say is if you are new, make sure you get involved in the channel and make sure you help us try and boost the watch along, so watch hours, and rewatch any stream you can. Leave a comment. It's people that leave in the comments, really, really helpful. We'll do this for the next match as well. We'll do a pre-match build up to the game. Something I think we can do is that good one. Say it's Mystic. We Deserve Better. He's on a run. He did say this is the exact lineup he predicted yesterday. 11 out of 11. The video's there. He got it all spot on. He got the defense spot on. He's calling it a 2-1 Manchester United win. That's the prediction he's putting out there. If we win 2-1, then we're gonna have to get when we get the channel memberships back, we're gonna have to get some custom emojis for his mythical predictions. But no, Neil's gone 2-2. I'm gonna throw it out there and say 2-2. I think most people have gone between 1-1, 2-1, and 2-2. I think possibly there might have been. I think Ian might have gone 3-1. That's kind of the range of reactions we're looking at. We're expecting a close game. Most people think a draw, but win, lose, or draw, we're going to be live 10 p.m. tonight in about 2 hours' time. Hopefully we get over the line. And what did you say, Kay Slater? Were you positive as well? I think there has been a bit of an outbreak of positivity just before kickoff, but we will see. We will see. And if these get positive reactions, we will try and do a longer pre-match, pre-match stream in future. It's not something we've ever done before. I think it's a good idea though. I think there's a lot of interest in the game just before kickoff, and maybe what I'll do next time is we'll do a bit of a longer stream and potentially open it out to people to come on and have their say. So that's something we'll try and do for the next match. And we're going to head off now. Thanks for watching. Please share the stream, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new, etc. as we push towards 500 subscribers. And we will be back at 10 p.m. tonight to take all your reactions, all your comments, and hopefully it's going to be good because hopefully it's going to be talking about a win. And then enjoy the match if you can. There's some Chelsea fans, Liverpool fans, and Man United fans in the chat tonight. Enjoy the match if you can, and make sure you tune in at 10 p.m. to talk about it. So big up to you.